I think it's fair that we all understand what actually we're talking about. So have a listen to this. Following the announcement of the possible return of the European Super League, even Ben Fletcher's got a title now, has he? talkSPORT senior broadcast journalist. Who's come up with that? Is that real? That can't be real. Bloke down there who always nicks food, Ben Fletcher. Here he is to give you a rundown of everything you need to know.
A new-look European Super League could contain up to 80 teams in a multi-divisional format. That's according to the competition's chief executive, A22's Bernd Reichardt. He's revealed that the competition would be based on sporting performance rather than having permanent members like was previously suggested. The Times chief sports reporter Martin Ziegler joined Paul Hawksbee and Charlie Baker earlier on today. He explained what the new plans actually mean.
Unlike now where the Champions League play split up according to seedings, I think the idea is you'd manufacture groups where the top clubs would all play each other. You wouldn't have Manchester United playing against a team from San Marino, for example. It would be sort of Man United, Real Madrid.
Off the back of the announcement, former Crystal Palace owner Simon Jordan joined Jim White and said he thinks it's fair that there's competition in European footballing governance.
UEFA are doing it because they've got the best interests of football. Oh, what a load of old pony. They're doing it because they are a monopoly and a cartel and they should be challenged. Now, in that challenge, do you think UEFA should say, that's the end of discussion? Only what we say. You can't possibly advocate for that.
Back in 2021, the plan to launch the Super League collapsed after fans stood up and fiercely criticised the clubs that joined. With the new proposals today, there's been another damning response. La Liga hit back saying the Super League is the wolf in the story of Little Red Riding Hood. The Football Supporters Association chief executive Kevin Miles also expressed his anger, likening it to a twitching corpse. Is this really the best thing for football? We'll let you decide.
Yeah, wonderful work there from talkSPORT senior broadcast journalist and and top bloke Ben Fletcher. Great title that is as well. Listen, I'm not a fan of it, right? I understand why it will be set up. I understand the benefits for it, so to stop FIFA and UEFA, etc., having a monopoly. I understand that anyone that has a monopoly over anything isn't necessarily great for the sport involved in it. I totally get that. But here's the thing, I think the rest of Europe looks up to us. I think we've got the best league in the world, the Premier League. It's best product, great brand, right? So why should we weaken and dilute that brand? The idea is, what I'm led to believe, having read everything I've read, there's going to be between 60 and 80 teams over Europe. You're going to have promotion, you're going to have relegation, and it will run side by side to our domestic league. Right, so we still have the Premier League, but then you'll have this Super League, and you'll get rid of, by having this, it will mean you don't have things like the Champions League
or Europa League, or the Europa Conference,
or the Europa Conference. Right now, I totally understand all that, but firstly, I don't think the Premier League will ever allow any member of its Premier League to play simultaneously in both leagues. I just can't see that happening because it's going to, as I say, dilute their brand. But also, I don't necessarily want this to happen. Because it's going to take about, if it's made up of 80 teams around Europe, my guess would be, this is purely just me having read what I've read, there would be about 20 teams from England that would be involved in it, in whatever tier it would be, right?
What's you talk about the whole of the Premier League?
I don't know. I don't really know, but I think maybe
20 teams would be the whole of the Premier League.
Yeah, you think it's going to be the top flight, right? And then, so if you're in the Championship and you get moved into the Premier League over here, then you've got a chance of somehow getting in to the European Super League, but not all teams, for argument's sake, Fulham, right, and Crystal Palace, I'm just plucking teams out, they won't necessarily be in the top league in the Super League. They'll be maybe League 2 of Super League and in the Premier League over here. Okay?
But there's a chance, because you got to think, and see, I'm kind of torn. I like the whole relegation, that so there's a bit of jeopardy on it, so it's not just like we're inviting these teams and no one else can get a look in. I didn't like that. That's the fans were right to tear that down.
Yes.
But when you look at some of their points, things like the 400 million invested, non-participating clubs, social causes and grassroots each year, that's a positive, I guess. You'd have to say that's a positive. It's filtering back down. But I guess if you're a supporter of a club like who's, like say, I would use Crystal Palace as an example. When's the last time they were in Europe?
Good point.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
There are teams that they're either middle of the road clubs in the Premier League, and that's no disrespect to Palace. Do you know what I mean? But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're never really pushing that top 6, top 7 to get into Europe. They're always there or thereabouts. There are supporters out there that have never seen their team participate in Europe. So from that basis, more opportunities in Europe for more clubs. I don't mind that.
Right.
But if it does mean watering down the product that we've got over here, which is the Premier League, and that becomes weaker, then I'm absolutely not for that, because the Premier League as it stands is perfect, I believe, and that's why people are coming up with these ideas to challenge the Premier League. Because we look at it now. You look at the transfer window that's just been. You look at Chelsea. Chelsea has spent more money than most countries combined.
That's right.
In their window.
That's right.
So clearly, people are upset that Premier League have got all the money and spending all the money, and they think, well, that's not fair. We need to challenge that.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. I agree with most of it. The only thing I'll say is, if you've got a team like Crystal Palace who don't play European football and they're in the Super League, they won't be playing Barcelona and Real Madrid.
No, but
they'll be playing Mallorca or Osasuna.
Yeah, but they've still got a chance in Europe, and they've got a chance of progressing. I don't mean we don't know how the tiers work in terms of.
No, but my guess would be, having read what I've read, you'll have exactly the same tier system as you've got in any country. You've got, the top division, the second division, and so on.
But my point is that, again, I get that.
Yeah.
But then, if you are in the third tier, say for instance,
of the European Super League,
but you've still got a chance of winning it.
Yes, that's right.
So you've still got a chance of playing these top teams, then, no? How do you win the league?
You'd win tier 3. Let's just say Crystal Palace went in tier 3, and they were playing the likes of
Osasuna,
Vigo or whatever, right?
Well, they win that little league.
Yeah, they win that league, and then they go into League 2.
Okay, well, I quite like that idea.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't mind that.
But then what will become number one priority for a side like Crystal Palace? Will it be the Premier League?
Yeah.
Where they're getting paid £150 million each year, or will it be tier 3 of the Super League?
But then,
also to fans, football fans. Here's another thing. I'm a Man United fan, right?
Yeah.
You're an Arsenal fan. Our teams, the pinnacle for our teams, is to play in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Right? That will go if this Super League thing happens.
Yeah, then it's about winning the Super League.
I don't want the Champions League to go.
No, but I don't want to change football. But what I'm saying is, this idea is better than the previous one that they tried to throw us with, where these teams, Tottenham, Arsenal.
No, you're so right. You're so right. But our football, as in English football, is not broke.
No, but the Champions League, they keep trying to change. They changed it again.
I know, but only because Spanish football is broken, Italian football is broken. You can go French football is broken. Like French, it's just PSG, right?
Yeah.
Give or take. But it's all their football. They're all, clubs like Real Madrid and Barcelona. They've got horrific financial debts, right? And it's crippling the clubs, and they're in danger of going under, and so on, right? You've got PSG. They need a country to put money into that club.
Yeah.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with our football. There's nothing wrong with our brand, right?
No.
It's not broken. So we're okay. And it's like the rest of Europe has gone like, our football's dying, so we need to get on the back of English football.
Or we need to draw money from that English Premier League.
Leave us alone. We're fine.
What about the Champions League? Because they do everything they can to earn more revenue.
Yeah.
So they change. I mean, they're changing
the
format.
I love the Champions League. Can you imagine a European Super League where you've got no jeopardy, no Champions League?
The no jeopardy part, I hate.
No,
That's
but what I'm saying is, if you're a club, I don't know how far down Premier League clubs will get into the top flight football. Hold on, sorry, let me finish. So let's say, for argument's sake, you've got a club like Brentford, right? I'm guessing they won't be in tier 1 of the European Super League, right? So they won't have. So if they got into the Champions League, if they got a Newcastle, prime example, I don't think Newcastle, right, currently will be in the top flight of the Super League, right? But they've got a chance of playing Champions League football, right? So what would Newcastle fans rather have? The Champions League or be in tier 2 of a Super League?
Yeah,
I just think it kills English football.
It does, but remember, there won't be simultaneous. One of them would have to go. So the Champions League would have to go.
That's what I'm saying.
But it'd be interesting to see, say, for instance, Palace win. I don't know why I keep using Palace, but Palace are in pot 3.
Yeah.
And they win that league, right? But they finish 5th bottom in the Premier League. Yeah. How do you work out?
I don't know. That's a great question. Like, you go up in one and down in the other.
Yeah, I don't understand how that would work.
I don't know. I don't think anyone knows yet. But, okay, here's the bottom line. I don't want it.
Yeah,
I'm happy with the way our football is run over in this country. I love the Champions League.
Yeah, me too. As long as they keep changing the format of the Champions League, stop trying to find ways of earning more money.
Yeah.
Then I'm all for it. Like, letting more teams in, ridiculous.
Okay.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.